Well, coming up next here, thanks Ian, is going to be the first race of the year for the Kumho Tyres BMW Championship. The BMW Racing Drivers Club organising this series. We'll give you the lineup fairly shortly. But first of all, earlier in the weekend we caught up with a few of the drivers.
Well, I'm down here in a bit of a BMW sandwich. Not too long to go until the first race of the weekend. We've got a few of the drivers down here actually. We've got Brian and Jazz. Let me see if I can just grab a quick word of Jazz. Brian, quick word with you guys. First of all, qualifying, how was it?
Yeah, bit sketchy.
Jazz won.
No, it's all good, mate. Yeah, I'm on a different car today, so.
Guys, is there any championship that you two don't race in?
There ain't many, no.
Well, the ones that we're allowed in.
Yeah, every single one. How nice is it to be back here at Silverstone? That was only a couple of weeks ago. You guys were here.
We love Silverstone.
I love it. It's the home of motorsport. Best track, I think.
Nice to be in the international pit lane, although it is a mile to anywhere, isn't it? Quick word, how did it go for you out there?
Yeah, very well, thank you. First time on the track, so lots to learn.
First time, really?
First time on international. I've done the national, but not the international. So lots to learn in a quick 15-minute quali.
Is there much difference? Because I always think Silverstone, it's big, it's wide. Is that what it's like?
Yeah, it's if you run off, then you've got a nice run-off area to go to if you don't quite pin that corner correctly. But
so you can make a mistake and still live.
You can make a mistake, yeah, you still live, yeah, definitely.
So, thanks for chatting to us anyway. Best of luck for the race. Right, it is almost time for BMWs to head out on track, so I'm going to hand back to your commentator, Dave Goddard.
Marshall's getting ready to line the cars up then for our first of two races today for the Kumho BMW Championship. The reigning champion will be out there in this one. That is number 7, Kevin Denwood. He took the title overall last year. He races in Class C. I believe he's racing an E46 Compact this weekend. Open to just about any BMW this series is, and there's also now a class for BMW Minis as well. First year they've raced for points. It was a bit of an invitation class last season. Now just joining us, a warm welcome to BARC TV. We're running about 30 minutes behind the originally published schedule. We had a slightly later start than planned due to fog this morning. So that's about half an hour behind, but hopefully we'll catch that up. Let's have a look at the grid then for the Kumho BMW. It's a stalwart of the championship on pole. Number 32, James Card with his E46 M3 will start on pole. Alongside him, number 76, Jason West. We saw him in the Classic Thunder race yesterday. He's in the black and orange car. Row 2 is number 22, Russell Dack, with a new car for him. With a Jägermeister liveried car similar to Brian Branson, who starts alongside number 26. Then we've got Brad Sheehan in the familiar pink and white at number 28. He won the Class A championship last season. And alongside him, Michael Vituli, running in the invitation class, the former single-seater racer. We'll see how he goes from there. Normally in contention for overall results. He's in the red car. Then row 4 is Ian Crisp, number 10, with his 1 Series. And Kevin Denwood, the reigning champion, number 7. There are the BMW Minis towards the back. Starting in among them, we've got a couple of the BMW saloons. That's number 69, James Ford. His father, Trevor, a bit further up the grid. Interesting to see Michael Pensavalle is back out there. Not in the later M3 that we saw him in previous years. He's in an E3318 today. Something a bit different for him. 78 there is Ronan Bradley, UK-based Irishman. 74 is Chris Walton. BMW Mini Pace setting qualifying by 4:11 Zach Blackwell. There's Pensavalle, the E30 shaped car, white car, for 146. Ahead of number 17, that's Ionut Carrare. Hope I pronounced that correctly. He's Romanian, I believe, based in the UK. Nigel Williams, number 13, and 50, Pete Miller. Start from the back. There's the 1 Series Coupe, number 10, Ian Crisp. A car prepared, I believe, by the G-Sport team, run by Giovanni Di Gennaro. I believe these cars will line up on the grid and then have an extra green flag lap as per their championship regulations. We'll just wait and see what happens here. Everybody else has just done the lap out of the pits and then made their starts, but I think the BMWs and BMW Minis have an extra green flag lap. We'll just wait and see as they come to the grid now. There's Nigel Williams, number 13. He runs in Class C, as does Pete Miller. There he is at the back. Car repaired after a big engine blow-up at Brands Hatch last season. It's James Card on pole, based in the North Midlands. His late father, Roger, was a racer in this championship for many years. In the silver car there, alongside the black and orange machine of Jason West. Then the two orange cars. The one with the yellow wing is the new car of Russell Dack, former overall champion. He raced a compact to the championship a few years ago. Brian Bransom alongside him with his new car. And then we have got row 3 of Brad Sheehan in the white and pink machine, the Days of Thunder inspired livery. Michael Vitulli in the red car. Ian Crisp in the white 1 series. And alongside him, the compact of reigning champion Kevin Denwood in the blue, white and red car. Row 5. Change of car for Jasvis Sapra. We've seen him out in Brit car this season, sharing with Brian Branson with his familiar grey M3, but he's in that yellow car there. I'm just waiting to see, will they get the extra green flag lap, or is the race going to start straight off? No, they will get a green flag lap because they've got the 30-second board from the gantry there. And then the green flag will wave shortly, so they do get an extra warming up lap as per their championship regulations. There is the green flag, so they head round to warm up. Interesting to see how the BMW Minis go here. Zach Blackwell at a 4.11, the quickest of them in qualifying. Bradley in the white and green car. Chris Walton in black and yellow. Trevor Ford, number 25, the chairman of the BMW Racing Drivers Club, which administers this series. Kumho tyres, the sponsors for many, many years now. They previously used road tyres on these cars. I believe these cars are all on slicks for this year. 23 is Dan Butcher Lord. 24, Rob Austin, not to be confused with the BTCC driver of the same name. Michael Pensavali, we'll see how he goes in the older E30, normally seen in an M3. Based up in Bradford. Some great names have come through this championship over the years. The likes of Peter Chalice, who went on to race in Euro Saloons and Brit Car, among others. David Kempton, John Wilcox, Evelyn Buanik, who's now a safety car driver at many events around the UK. Gary Whittaker went a whole season unbeaten a couple of years ago before moving on to new challenges. Martin Bell and Rick Kerry, who graduated to the BTCC in BMWs. Rick Kerry, I believe, was the first driver to race a diesel-powered car in BTCC. James Card on pole position today. He's been plagued with electrical issues over the last couple of years with that car. I love the logo on Russell Dack's car there, the Dackmeister. There is Michael Vitulli, ex-single-seater racer. Very quick in that M3. He's in the invitation class. Classes A, B, C, D, invitation and M. M for minis. So now the marshals bring him into line on the grid. This will be a 20-minute race. One of the UK's longest running one mark championships. Certainly one of the most spectacular. Now, as I said before the previous race, I didn't see the red lights come on, so we may be starting on the flag. We'll have to wait and see. Last few cars coming into line then. James Ford just ahead of Michael Pensavale. The green flag then waves at the back of the grid. Red lights do come on this time. They go out and we are underway. A couple of cars a little bit slow away towards the front. Jason West with a poor start there. Good start by Brian Bransom in the 26 car. Up the outside comes Brad Sheehan. They're almost 3 wide. James Card in the middle. James Card just about holding his lead there ahead of Bransom, Sheehan. It looks like it's Michael Vitulli up into 4th position. So a bad start by Jason West. Not a great start by Russell Dack. His first time in his new car. 3 wide for 2nd place, but it's James Card who leads the way. Bransom's taken wide by Sheehan at Village there. It's the pink and white number 28 up into 2nd position as they start to sort themselves out. Kevin Denwood being taken there, the reigning champion, by Ronan Bradley. The yellow car is Jasvier Sapra. BMW Minis fighting it out further back. They charge down the hanger straight. It's James Card who leads the way, side by side between Brad Sheehan and Michael Vitulli for that 2nd place. Vitulli trying to get around the outside on the limit of adhesion there. Jason West has fought back from his slightly slow start, side by side with Brian Branson. Then the 1 Series coupe of Ian Crisp, number 10, in the club corner for the first time. What a fine sight these big BMWs make. First lap of the season for the Kumho BMW Championship, warming up these Kumho tyres. Completes the first lap. It's Card, Sheehan, Vitulli, then Branson, West, Crisp and Dack. First 7 or so cars have broken away from the rest of the field. It's Ronan Bradley 8th, Kevin Denwood 9th, Jasvier Sapra rounds out the top 10. Then we've got the BMW Minis headed by Zach Blackwell, starting to settle down now into their rhythm. It's first lap of the season for the Kumho BMWs. It's James Card out in front, fast but sometimes fragile. F3. Gap back to the next group headed by Ronan Bradley. He's leading his class, Class B. So Kevin Denwood behind him. He leads Class C ahead of Jasvier Sapra. Here comes Jason West having a look at Brian Branson. Brian Branson, who shares BMWs with Jas Sapra in the Brick Car series. First 2 breaking away slightly. Card ahead of Sheehan. They had some good battles last season. Brad Sheehan it was who took the Class A title. 3 cars line astern. Look at this for 3rd place. Vitulli, Branson and Jason West. A few wins in Classic Thunder last season. He's out in Classic Thunder later on as well. Vitulli defending. Here's a fight further back for 8th place, headed by Ronan Bradley. And here are the BMW Minis. Number 23 is Daniel Butcher Lord. 24 is Rob Austin. Almost 3 wide there through Village. Brian Branson having a look. Oh, and he nudges Jason West. Jason West goes off. Good save over the tarmac runoff area. 3 into 1 didn't go there, and Jason West got squeezed out onto the grass. He'll lose a few places. Rejoins behind Ian Crisp, so he's down to about 7th place. Jason West will try to fight back up the order. We know how quick he is. We saw him on the podium in the Classic Thunder race yesterday, behind Jason Davies. Michael Vitulli making a move on Brian Branson as a result of that loss of momentum. They're side by side to Stowe. Branson later on the brakes, holds the place. Behind them is the Dackmeister, Russell Dack, the former overall champion, won that in a compact similar to that of Kevin Denwood a few years ago. James Card continues to lead from Brad Sheehan. A replay of that instance earlier on. They were trying to go 3 wide and Brian Branson moved back across, didn't realise Jason West was there and sent him over the grass. That could have had much worse consequences if they collided. That would have been a hard impact. Good save, Jason West. Brian Branson still defending from Michael Vitulli, but they've dropped 3/4 of a second back on the 2 leaders. Card ahead of it was over 4 seconds, sorry, 3/4 of a second is the gap between the 2 leaders, I apologise. It's Brad Sheehan now on the attack as they head out of the link. Back with the BMW Minis, and Zach Blackwell's lost the lead of that class, number 68 there of Lee Sullivan. The orange car has taken over. Ahead of the BMW Mini Pack, a very popular race car in all manner of series these days. 2 leaders have escaped. Card from Sheehan. Down the right-hander at Stowe. Still 15.5 minutes of this race to go. A long way to go yet. Still Branson in 3rd. Ahead of Vitulli. Good fight between these 2, and Russell Dack joining in for good measure as well. Big slide there for Vitulli. The tyres still not up to full temperature. No tyre have supported this championship for many years now. James Card, sponsored by Mike Brewer Motors, out in front. His he a bit of a wheeler-dealer? Here's a fight further back. Ronan Bradley's lost a couple of places. Kevin Denwood in the compact, Jazz Sapra in the yellow M3, ahead of the Irishman. And then we've got the BMW Minis, a lot of understeer there for Lee Sullivan. 5 cars line astern. Rob Austin there, behind him is number 51 of Andy Langley. Behind them, that looks like it's one of the Fords, that's Trevor Ford, club champ. Kevin Denwood looking to retain his title this year. He's already up in 8th place overall, leading Class C ahead of Jazz Sapra. It's Class A cars in the top 3 overall. The invitation class led by Michael Vitulli. Ronan Bradley leading Class B. There he is, the white and green car. Minis led by Lee Sullivan. Class D is Michael Pensavale further back in the field. We've lost a couple of cars in the early laps into the pits. Nigel Williams, Chris Walton and Pete Miller unfortunately have all pulled off into the pits, so lost a few cars already. James Ford, number 69, son of Trevor, being lapped. I'm sure the Ford team's family cheering them on from the pits as Ian Crisp's had a moment at Club Corner. I'll interrupt myself there. The lovely 1 Series Coupe rejoins. There he is. Comes through in 7th place. So yes, lost time with a spin there, but he hasn't lost position. Kevin Denwood and Jazz Sapra much closer now though. Lee Sullivan leads the Minis and running a bit wide there, the 23 of Dan Butcher-Lord. Great fight here among the BMW Minis. Lee Sullivan, who was only a last-minute entry for this weekend, leading the pack. Doing great stuff. BMW Minis, a point-scoring class this year. Oh, and Lee Sullivan, is he slowing there? 3 cars past him into Village. I wonder if Lee Sullivan, did he miss a gear there, or has he got a problem? He's lost the lead of the class, we know that. Jason West has recovered. He's caught Russell Dack after his moment up at Village earlier on. There was nearly contact with Brian Branson. They're lapping Michael Pensavale, we can see there in the E30 shaped car. And yes, Lee Sullivan must have a problem. You can see he's slowing down. That's a great shame. Zach Blackwell now in the lead of the class, ahead of Dan Butcher-Lord, Rob Austin and Andy Langley. I reckon Lee Sullivan is heading pitwards this time around. Minis go through. Stern front is card by 1.3 seconds now ahead of Brad Sheehan. There's the fight for 3rd. That that's a fight for 4th because Brian Branson's broken away slightly now. James Carr has the fastest lap of the race, 109.708. Jason West on his recovery drive, passing Russell Dack. Through he goes. That puts Jason West up into 5th position. Can he get in touch for a podium? Can he catch the 2 leaders? They're separated by 1.3 seconds. What's the gap back to Brian Branson now as he comes through? Nearly 7.5 seconds these 2 are clear by. Going towards half distance, 11.5 minutes of this race to go. Round 1 of the Kumho BMW Championship 2022. Did I see a slight puff of smoke there from our race leader? Not sure. Brad Sheehan still there in 2nd, losing ground a little there. Jason West in 5th place, now challenging Michael Vitulli for 4th overall. Vitulli, of course, in the invitation class. Michael Pensavale still leading Class D. His only rival is James Ford, a couple of places back. They've already been lapped by the quicker cars. Here's a battle among the BMW Minis. They're being lapped. That's the 47 car of James Goodall, leading the 44 of Charles Heatley, getting in the way of Brad Sheehan a bit there. That's delayed him slightly. Cuts his way through. And now being lapped and being pointed through there is James Ford. You can see James pointing there to tell James Card which way he wants him to go. There's the struggling car of Lee Sullivan being lapped as well. He's going to be out of the race soon, I reckon. James, the son of Trevor Ford. So Trevor's... Oh, and a spin there. That's a tangle between Brad Sheehan. He's tangled with James Ford. What happened there? It's me. Well, James Ford facing the wrong way. Brad Sheehan now back in the third place fight. So through to, let's have a look, through to second is Brian Branson, third is Michael Vitulli. Jason West, what is Brad Sheehan doing here? Has he got a puncture or something? He's sliding all over the place. Was there contact there with Russell Dack, perhaps coming in through Chapel? Let's have a look. Let's have a look as he comes in through Stowe Corner, the pink number 28 here. If he gets sideways again, oh, he's okay now. Not sure what that was all about. Thought he had a tyre going down or something. Bit of a lock up there for Michael Vitulli. He's now into second place. He's got ahead of Brian Branson there. Brad Sheehan trying to recover, and he's got to lap these minis again after that spin. That's Charlie Heatley. Past the 47 of James Goodall. Has Trevor Ford got going again in the 25? He can't still be stranded on track, otherwise the safety car will be scrambled. Well, there he is. We can see him in the background. He's being wheeled away by the marshal. So yellow flags at Village. Trevor Ford, James Ford looks like he's out of the race. There he is. James and Trevor being cheered on, most likely from the pits by young Maddie, the team's mascot, Trevor's granddaughter. James out of the race. Here comes West, the inside at the right-hander at Stowe, past Brian Branson. Now Branson losing ground. So the complexion of this battle changing slightly. Michael Vitulli now second. West's back up to third after his moment earlier. And all this is playing into the hands of James Card, who now leads by nearly 10 seconds. Brad Sheehan's got going again. He's in fifth place. Over the line they go. Brian Branson holding that third place. They lap one of the minis. That's Andy Langley. Here's Brad Sheehan starting to recover in the pink car in the background. 7.5 minutes just over to go. Dan Butcher-Lord about to be lapped as Brian Branson chases Michael Vitulli for second place. A big slide from Vitulli there. He's trying hard. All rear-wheel drive, of course, these BMWs. Except for the minis. Well, there's Card. Probably wondering where everyone else has got to. File past Dan Butcher-Lord. Zach Blackwell, the leader of the mini class, is next to be lapped. He's in 11th overall. Jason West goes through past Brian Branson down the Hanger Streets. Closing now on Michael Vitulli. He's been delayed slightly by minis and by, I think that's Trevor Ford as well. Trying to move aside down the Vale. Just about to do so, and the quicker runners get through okay. There goes Card. Lead gap has come down to 6.5 seconds now. They've got through the back markers. So the fight back is on. They're trying to reel in James Card. His last lap was a 1:14. Those behind lapping in the 1:11s. Now I thought I saw earlier a puff of smoke from James Card's exhaust pipe. So we'll just keep an eye on the 32 car. That's James Ford there. He's out of the race. Now James has got to lap Ronan Brandy and Jazz Sapra. I don't know if it's the slightly slower lap was because he was lapping back markers. Brad Sheehan has got past Russell Dack with his new car. So it's now Vitulli second, West third, Branson fourth, Sheehan fifth, and Dack down to sixth. They're starting to space out now. This battle except for the second and third men. Up ahead there, Jazz Sapra gets past Ronan Bradley in the club. Always an aggressive driver is Jazz, the Warwickshire-based driver. Began racing alongside a certain Lucky Carer in BMWs. It was in this championship that Lucky Carer and his driving partner Lee Frost made their debuts a few years ago here at Silverstone. And there they are now, race winners in Brick Car. Lucky's a Ferrari Challenge champion as well. Surprised if you see Lucky Carer in international GT racing in years to come. Bit of a lock up there from Michael Vitulli. He goes wide. Jason West could get second place here. It's over 5 minutes to go. Oh, and problems there. Was there contact there? Jason West goes around. Now Brian Branson was near him. And they've already nearly had a coming together once. Jason West gets going. Yeah, I think I can see a bit of damage on the rear corner, so it looks like there was contact with Brian Branson. Jason West won't be happy there, and who can blame him? Looks like a bit of damage to the rear wing on Brian's car as well. Well, James Card has said, if you're going to squabble with each other, I'm going to clear off and win this race. Michael Vitulli's now clear in second. We can try and see a replay of what happened there. In the background, it looks like there was contact possibly between Brian Branson, and that's what caused the damage to the rear wing. So there may not have been initial contact. There we see the rear wing come off Branson's car. It's because he clipped Jason West's car as he tried to avoid it. So maybe that's what the contact was. You can see there the damage to Branson's rear wing. It's sagging in the middle now. See it again here. Yes, there was contact on the way in. Branson had a dive down the inside. It didn't work. He hit the back of Jason West, and then they made contact again as Branson tried to get round the outside. So 2 instances of contact there. And Jason West is back to square one. And his bumper trailing as well. If that doesn't come off, he might get the black and orange flag for that. The meatball flag, as it's known, the black with orange disc, that means mechanical problem or technical problem, call into the pits. So it's card now from Vitulli by nearly 8 seconds. Brad Sheehan is third, Brian Branson fourth, and Russell Dack is up to fifth. West's got going again in 6th place. We lost about 10 seconds with that spin. Ian Crisp is in 7th in the 1 Series. Kevin Denwood, reigning champion, still leading his class in 8th. So 2 cars with damage now. Brian Branson, I don't know how that wing damage is going to be affecting him down the straights, but look at the state of Jason West's car. That bumper still trailing, and the officials might look at that, and he may get the black and orange flag. We've only got 3 minutes of the race to go. Brian Branson hoping no more of his wing falls off. The leader has lapped Kevin Denwood. There he is, number 7. Michael Vitulli in the red, number 89, still second. Another bit of wing comes off. Nice header there by Russell Dack. Brian Branson's cars and Jason West's cars are falling apart. James Card, though, no problem at all. 2 minutes 20 to go, so we'll get a couple more laps out of this one. Away goes James Card, the man from the North Midlands, starting his season as he means to go off. He's lapped the 69 car of Trevor Ford. There is Trevor currently running. In fact, that's James Ford. Trevor's number 25. I've got them around the wrong way. Apologies there. It's Trevor that's out of the race. James still going in the 69. My apologies. Brad Sheehan in 3rd place. Recovering after his spin earlier on. There's what's left of the rear of Jason West's car. That bumper has fallen off. Souvenir for the marshals. Vitulli runs over a bit of debris there, running wide at Chapel. And yes, I think that rear wing damage is affecting Brian Branson because he's lost out to Russell Dack there. Quite a few retirements. We've lost a couple more BMW Minis. Lee Sullivan, I expect, is one. Rob Austin has retired as well. So it will be last lap this time, I think, for James Card. Yes, the board is out for the marshals on the pit wall. Last lap. BMW of the Kumho BMW Championship round 1. Pick up the class winners at the conclusion of this race, but nobody's going to catch James Card. Over 9 seconds to the good over Michael Vitulli. Russell Dack up to 4th behind Brad Sheehan. Brian Branson, I think, certainly having his straight line speed affected by that broken wing. 25 car of Trevor Ford. So James, sorry again for the mix-up there, out of the race. We saw him in the background. Leader coming up to lap number 44 of Charlie Heatley. It's the 2nd, 3rd, 4th and 5th place cars. Michael Vitulli, a safe 2nd place, but it's going to be checkered flag this time. Started from pole, has led pretty much all the way. Here he comes. 32, James Card, a veteran of this championship, comes in to take the opening win of the season for the Kumho BMW Championship by a clear margin, as everybody else was rather tripping over each other behind him. Second place will go to Michael Vitulli. Brad Sheehan will come home in third. Then Russell Dack in fourth. Ryan Branson should make it home in fifth position. He does. And a doubtlessly rather aggrieved Jason West. Here he comes. Look at the state of the rear of his car. Bumper's gone. The rear wing's hanging off from that contact earlier on as he spun. And the car just about hanging together to the finish. He'll come home in sixth place. Ian Crisp with the last man on the lead lap. He comes in seventh, close there between Jasvir Sapra and Ronan Bradley. Sapra just got the place there by 0.18 of a second. That was for a class win? No, it wasn't. Kevin Denwood in 8th place ahead of them. Sapra 9th, Bradley 10th. And Zach Blackwell wins the BMW Mini Class. So a bit of a race of attrition there, the first race of the season for the Kumho BMW Championship. Jason West giving us a wave from his BMW E46 M3 Superleggera. But it's James Card with a dominant victory in the first race of the season. Well done, James. See the Kumho BMW Championship back out for another race later on. I believe the result of this one gives the grid for race 2, and here is the result. James Card, the winner by 9.5 seconds ahead of Michael Vitulli, who wins the invitation class. Then Sheehan, Dack, Branson and West. Ian Crisp coming home as the last man on the lead lap. Kevin Denwood, the winner of Class C, ahead of Jasvir Sapra. Ronan Bradley wins Class B as the only finisher. We lost Chris Walton early on. The BMW Mini Class going to Zach Blackwell ahead of Dan Butcher-Lord, Andy Langley, James Goodall and Charlie Heatley. Behind them was Michael Pensavali, the winner of Class D. The other finishers, Yonel Carrare and James Ford. We lost Lee Sullivan, Rob Austin, Pete Miller, Chris Walton and Nigel Williams. They all retired to the pits, and of course we saw Trevor Ford spin out of the race. We can go straight down to Ian Waterhouse. He's in Parc Fermé talking to some of the drivers.
Now, welcome down to Parc Fermé, everybody. James Card making it look easy, did he there? But plenty of action going on behind him. Let's have a quick word with him as well whilst we've got him. James, congratulations. You kind of just ran away with that a little bit, didn't you?
Yeah, I think something must have happened behind me with the back markers because Brad was all over me. But I was having loads of problems. My throttle kept cutting out mid-corner in corner one. So every time I went through, the throttle would go, and it'd go for about a second or two and then come back. So that's why he was catching me, and then I could get away from him. But quite just pleased to bring it home.
Yeah, I mean, you never know. We're watching it, and it's looking like you're just at this at a canter. Looks easy as anything, doesn't it? But you just told us you had problems. Any point you're thinking, oh my God, I don't know if I'm going to finish?
No, because once the car gets hot, it disappears. So it was only for the first 3 or 4 laps, and then after that, and then once something happened behind me, I just kind of, I was going at a canter at the end. Not tight, quite, because that's when you make a mistake. Yeah. But when you haven't got somebody breathing down your neck, it's a lot easier to bring it home.
Absolutely. Congratulations. And good luck for race 2 as well. Got to do it all again a little bit later. I know Chris wants to have a chat. Zach Blackwell, winner in the minis as well. Let's have a quick word with Zach. There we go. Let you get out, Zach. Congratulations, buddy.
Thank you very much.
Happy about that?
Yeah, very happy.
What was it like out there? Because it's cold today, isn't it? And there's a lot of cars on the grid.
Yeah, there's a lot of cars on the grid. It was, to be honest, I felt like the track felt better today than yesterday in qualifying. So that was definitely nice.
A lot of rubber, I suppose, has gone down over the last 24 hours, hasn't it?
Yeah, definitely. Sorry. Yeah, but in terms of the race went really well. Enjoyed it. Had a really good battle with Lee Sullivan at the beginning. I'm not sure what happened to his car. I think he might have had a bit of an issue, but until that point, it was really good. Can't really ask for much more than that.
Got to do it all again now, haven't you?
First race of the season.
First race of the season,
Yeah.
First win as well. And in third place, the safety car. No, I'm only joking. Right, it's time to hand back to your commentator, Dave Gordon, to tell you what's coming up next.